What is the ultimate dream for a professional athlete? Seriously, think about it. It's not just the championships, not just the glory, not just the roar of the crowd. It's a deeper, more personal feeling. It's security. It's the ultimate form of respect. It's that one phone call from your agent, the one you've been working for since you were a little kid shooting hoops in the driveway, where he tells you the team is offering you a life-changing, mind-boggling amount of money. A max contract. A supermax. It's the validation that silences every doubt you've ever had. It's the team looking you in the eye and saying, "You are our guy. You are the one." It's a golden ticket, a reward for all the years of unseen sacrifice, the early mornings, the grueling workouts, the injuries. It is, by all accounts, supposed to be the single best moment of your entire career. But what if it's not? What if that dream moment, that golden ticket, slowly begins to tarnish? What if, over time, that ticket transforms into a pair of golden handcuffs, heavy and cold? What if the contract that was designed to be the ultimate reward becomes a prison? A beautiful, luxurious, velvet-lined prison with a great view, but a prison nonetheless. A prison where the walls are made of salary cap sheets and the bars are made of unbreakable clauses. A prison not just for the player, but for the entire franchise, trapping them together in a slow-motion nightmare of their own making, with no hope of escape. This isn't some hypothetical story. This is the stunning reality of one of the most unique, powerful, and terrifying contracts in the entire league. This is the story of Bradley Beal, and how his dream contract has handcuffed the Phoenix Suns and become the ultimate cautionary tale for all of modern sports. To really understand how we got here, you have to rewind. You have to forget about the desert sun of Phoenix for a minute and go back to where this all started, in Washington, D.C. This wasn't a deal signed in the heat of a championship chase. This was a deal born out of loyalty and desperation. Bradley Beal was Mr. Wizard. He was the loyal star who stayed when other stars would have left. He was an elite all-star, an incredible, three-level scorer, and he stuck with the Wizards through all the mediocre seasons, the disappointing playoff exits, the constant roster churn. He gave them his entire prime. So when it came time for him to sign a new contract, the Wizards were cornered. They were desperate to keep their one shining light, to show their fanbase that they could keep a homegrown star happy. So, they didn't just offer him a massive 5-year, $250 million deal. That's almost standard for a player of his caliber. No, they went a step further. To sweeten the pot, to give him the ultimate sign of respect, loyalty, and power, they gave him something incredibly rare in the modern NBA, a perk reserved for only the truest legends of the game, a full, unrestricted no-trade clause. Think about what that really means. It means the team cannot trade him, cannot send him anywhere, without his explicit, personal permission. He holds all the cards. He controls his own destiny, completely and totally. For the Wizards, in that moment, it felt like the necessary cost of doing business to keep their franchise player from walking out the door. But in their desperation, they had unknowingly created a monster, a contractual anomaly that would soon have league-shattering consequences for a completely different team. Then came the blockbuster trade. The Phoenix Suns, already boasting two of the most gifted scorers on planet Earth in Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, decided to push all their chips into the middle of the table. This was their championship window, and they wanted to blow the doors off it. They wanted to build an offensive juggernaut, a big three so powerful it would simply overwhelm the rest of the league. And they saw the opportunity to get Bradley Beal. But here's the crucial part, the detail that changes everything. Because Beal had that no-trade clause, he essentially got to choose his destination from a list of interested teams. And when a player with a no-trade clause is traded, that clause travels with him. The Phoenix Suns didn't just trade for a player, they inherited the prison. They voluntarily took on the golden handcuffs. At the time, of course, it felt like a massive coup. The excitement in Phoenix was off the charts. On paper, they had formed one of the most lethal offensive trios in NBA history. A championship felt inevitable. But a storm was brewing, a shift in the league's financial landscape that would turn this dream into a disaster. The NBA introduced a new collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, with incredibly strict, punitive rules designed to punish the very superteams the Suns had just created. Suddenly, having 3 players making max money wasn't just expensive, it was strategically crippling. And after a deeply disappointing 2024-25 season, where the Suns' lack of depth was brutally exposed in the playoffs, the dream in Phoenix has soured into a waking nightmare. And the contract is at the very center of it all. Here's how the prison actually works, in plain English. First, there's zero flexibility. The combined salaries of Beal, Booker, and Durant are so enormous that the Suns are flying deep into the league's harshest luxury tax territory, something called the second apron. Think of the second apron as the NBA's version of a maximum security jail cell. Once you're in it, you lose almost all of your privileges. You see a solid veteran player get bought out by another team? Too bad, the rules say you can't sign him. You want to trade 2 of your minimum salary guys to acquire a decent role player making a bit more money? Nope, you're not allowed to do that either. You want to trade a first-round draft pick that's years down the line? The league says you can't. They are, quite literally, stuck with the roster they have. The very star power they paid for has made it mathematically impossible to build a complete, championship-level team around them. They have 3 amazing quarterbacks, but they can't afford an offensive line to protect them. But the real, unbreakable bars on the prison cell? That no-trade clause. Let's just imagine you're the Suns' general manager. You've just watched your team get bounced from the playoffs because you don't have enough defenders, enough rebounders, enough depth. You know this Big 3 experiment, this top-heavy roster, isn't working as constructed. In a normal situation, you could explore trading one of your stars to rebalance the team, to get some depth, some draft picks, some much-needed financial flexibility. But you can't. Not with Bradley Beal. Because of that clause, you cannot trade him unless he personally approves the destination. He has all the leverage. Your hands are completely tied. You can't rebuild. You can't retool. You are forced to just run it back, year after year, with the same fundamentally flawed roster, just hoping that something magically changes. It's strategic purgatory. It's the worst possible place for a competitive franchise to be. And through all of this, it is absolutely crucial to understand, none of this is Bradley Beal's fault. He is not the villain in this story. Let's be human for a second. If your boss offered you a record-breaking salary and a contract that said they could never transfer you to another office unless you agreed to it, would you turn it down? Of course not. He earned that contract under the rules of the game. He negotiated for a position of power, and he got it. He plays hard every night. By all accounts, he's a great teammate who just wants to win. The villain of this story isn't a person. It's the contract itself. It's a structural problem that has become a perfect storm of bad timing with the new CBA, bad luck, and a dangerous concentration of player power. This situation has become the ultimate cautionary tale for the new era of the NBA. It's a terrifying warning to every other front office about the profound dangers of not just massive contracts, but massive contracts with unprecedented levels of control. The Phoenix Suns wanted a championship so badly that they mortgaged their entire future for it, ignoring the warning signs of a new financial reality. But they didn't just buy 3 superstars. They bought a beautiful, golden cage. And right now, as they look towards a future with very few options and very little hope for change, it's a cage that has no obvious key and no easy escape.